We walk around all day, grabbing things, keeping our balance. We never really give it a second thought. But underneath all of that, there's this secret world of senses constantly feeding information to our brain, literally building our reality. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that secret science, how your body knows exactly where it is and what it's touching.
Okay, let's just jump right in with a little experiment. Go ahead, close your eyes. Now, try to touch the tip of your nose with your index finger. You did it, right? Feels totally simple. But what you just did is, well, it's kind of a neurological miracle. You weren't using your eyes. So how on earth did your brain know where your finger was and where your nose was in space? The answer lies in two incredible hidden systems.
These two systems are called somatosensation and proprioception. The easiest way to think about it is like this. Somatosensation is your outside-in sense. It's everything you feel through your skin, the smoothness of glass, the vibration from your phone, all of that. Proprioception, though, is your inside-out sense. It's like your brain's own internal GPS, always tracking where your arms and legs are without you ever having to look. So let's start with the outside, with the skin.
Your skin is so much more than just a barrier. It is packed with an incredibly specialized toolkit of sensors. These are called mechanoreceptors, and each one has a very, very specific job to do.
See, this is why touch isn't just one sense. It's really like a team of at least 4 specialists working together. Right near the surface, you've got Merkel discs. They're the experts on feeling fine details like textures and edges. And next to them are Meissner corpuscles, which are amazing at detecting slip. That's the feeling that tells you to tighten your grip on a glass before you drop it. Then, if you go deeper, you find Ruffini endings, which sense your skin stretching, helping you shape your hand around something. And way down deep are the Pacinian corpuscles, the absolute masters of feeling high-frequency vibrations.
And you can really see the difference in how they're built. On the left, that's a Meissner's corpuscle, nestled right up near the surface of the skin. It's perfectly placed for detecting a light little flutter. But then look at the right, the Pacinian corpuscle. It literally looks like a sliced onion. It's buried way down deep, and that layered structure is what makes it so good at responding to deep pressure and fast vibrations.
So, we've got this amazing toolkit of receptors. But how does that translate into what we actually feel? Well, it all comes down to resolution, because, let's be honest, not all parts of your skin are created equal. Some are basically high-definition TVs, while others are, well, they're more like an old tube TV from the 90s.
This map shows it perfectly. This is from something called the 2-point discrimination test. Basically, it measures how far apart 2 points have to be before you can feel them as 2 separate things. And just look at the difference. On your back or your leg, the points have to be centimeters apart. But on your fingertips or lips, we're talking just a couple of millimeters. So what's going on here? What's behind this huge gap in sensitivity?
It turns out it's pretty simple. It all comes back to those Merkel discs we talked about. Your fingertips are absolutely jam-packed with them, which gives your brain a super high-resolution picture of the world. Your back? Not so much.
And the best real-world example of this is reading Braille. Just look at this. As those little dots pass over a fingertip, that top row of signals, the one labeled SAI, that's coming from the Merkel discs. It's a sharp, clean, perfect neural picture of the dots. Now look at the signals from the other receptors below it. They're just a smeared, blurry mess. You couldn't read anything with that. Without that super high density of Merkel discs, reading Braille would be totally impossible.
Okay, so we've covered the skin, but that only explains half of our little nose-touching trick. To get the full story, we have to go deeper, literally, inside our muscles, to find the hardware that runs our body's internal map.
And in here, we've got 2 main characters. First is the muscle spindle. Think of it like a tiny ruler and a speedometer combined. It sits inside your muscle, and it's constantly telling your brain, okay, the muscle is this long and it's changing length this fast. Then you have the Golgi tendon organ, or GTO. It's different. It's in the tendon connecting the muscle to the bone, and its job is to be a force gauge. It's always asking, how hard is this muscle pulling?
The muscle spindle has this really clever piece of engineering to solve a big problem. You see these special little fibers inside it? Those do the sensing. But think about it. When your main muscle contracts and gets shorter, the sensor would just go limp and become useless. So the brain has a brilliant solution. It uses something called gamma motor neurons to send a signal to the ends of the spindle, which tightens it up. This keeps the sensor taut and sensitive no matter what the main muscle is doing. It's an amazing little feedback loop.
Now, the Golgi tendon organ, which you can see here woven right into the tendon, is basically your body's emergency brake. When you lift something really heavy, your muscle contracts and pulls on that tendon. The GTO is measuring that pulling force, and if the tension gets so high that you're in danger of tearing something, the GTO sends a red alert to your spinal cord that says, "Emergency, shut it down." It forces the muscle to relax to prevent an injury.
So we've got these two incredible systems, touch from the outside and position sense from the inside. And most of the time, they work together in perfect harmony. But what happens when we trick them? What happens when their signals are in direct conflict? Well, we can actually hack the system to find out, using a really bizarre illusion.
This is called the Pinocchio effect, and the setup is surprisingly simple. You have someone blindfolded, holding their finger to their nose. Then, you take a vibrator, like a massage gun, and apply it to their bicep tendon. What happens is that the intense vibration artificially sets off the muscle spindles in the bicep. This sends a powerful but totally false signal to the brain that the elbow is straightening out and the arm is moving away from the face. So now the brain is in a serious bind. It's got two contradictory reports. The sense of touch from the fingertip is clearly saying, "I am still touching the nose." But that powerful signal from the muscle spindles is screaming, "No way, the arm is extending." Both of these things can't be true at the same time. So what does the brain do? How does it solve this paradox?
While faced with this impossible choice, the brain basically makes a bet. It decides to trust the strong, dynamic signal of movement from the muscle spindles more than the boring, static signal from the fingertip. And to make sense of it all, it literally invents a new reality. If the arm is extending and the finger is still on the nose, then the only logical explanation is that the nose itself must be growing longer, just like Pinocchio's.
And this is where things get really fascinating. We've just seen that our physical perception of our own body isn't some direct, objective truth. It's an interpretation. It's a story that the brain tells itself based on the data it has. And it's a story that can be easily manipulated. So it really makes you wonder, if our most basic physical sense of our own bodies is this flexible, this much of a construct, what does that say about our higher level sense of who we are? How much of that is also just a carefully crafted illusion?